to our video presentation today regarding the Illinois FirstNet project. My name is Bill Springer and I work for the Illinois Terrorism Task Force, and I'm the system architect for the state of Illinois on the FirstNet project. So one of the things right now is we're looking for information from the counties to make sure that this design is proper and to make sure this network works and actually does what it needs to do for all the users. We need a lot of information. At this stage we've got options. We're so early in the project that any input that we put into it today, we can influence the outcome in the future of how this network is going to look like, how's it going to work, what's it going to do for us. But we need all the help from the agencies for this. We need your help. One of the ways is the mobile data survey tool. If you go to www.publicsafetytools.info, and we will show you on the next slide a little screenshot of it, what this does is it's a survey tool that gathers information about your use of mobile data today, your current use of data in the field, how you use it, what you use it for, so on and so forth. Some of the critical information this survey picks up is costs. What are you paying today and at what level of service are you paying for it? What kind of applications are you using? What are you using today and what might you plan to use in the future? It also talks about coverage. On your current data systems, how's the coverage working for you? Does it work or does it not work? So this tool is very important to us in Illinois FirstNet. As of this filming, we've had 181 agencies that have entered data. We really appreciate the ones who have entered the data, and this information is really critical. We appreciate any agency that takes the time to go in and put the information in the mobile data survey tool. It's a fairly quick process. If you go to publicsafetytools.info, it's a federal government website by the Office of Emergency Communications. You go to the mobile data survey tool button, you simply click on that button, tell it you're from Illinois, and it'll pop up a screen that tells you the information that we're looking for in the survey. You just print that list out, log off, and then log back on later once you've gathered the information and start entering the information in the survey tool. It takes about 20 to 25 minutes to complete for most agencies. But again, this information is invaluable to us at FirstNet because it helps us build a picture of what we need to do in Illinois to make sure mobile data, especially on FirstNet, actually works for all the using agencies. Again, we really appreciate every agency that enters information in the mobile data survey tool. Again, we need help. We need a lot of accurate information to make sure this project is successful. We need all sorts of information. For example, accurate agency information. When we go out and do the county planning workshops at all the counties, we give you the information that we've got on all of your agencies and all of your locations. If you look at it, you'll notice that there's probably some errors in there. So we need help validating all the information that we've got on a county by county basis. Some of the things we've noticed though in analyzing the information is we don't see a whole lot of EMS information. In most of the counties, we don't know if EMS is handled by the fire departments or if it's done by private ambulance services. It really doesn't matter to us. We just need to understand how it's being done to make sure we've got a network that works for that application. As an example, private ambulance services, even though they aren't governmental organizations, would be eligible to use FirstNet. Also, DOT and Public Works. We don't have a lot of information on who's out there doing that function out in the counties. We can make a guess that there's a county Department of Transportation, and we can make a guess that there's town or township or whatever public works departments, but we need hard information as to who's out there, the size of those organizations, and so on and so forth. Also, we need help with the mobile data survey tool. We just talked about that earlier. How many users you have out there and what kind of applications are you using. This is really critical information. Also, information that we give out to each county in our county planning meetings is we give them a spreadsheet for hot zones. And what this does is, this is a place for people in the agencies in that county to tell us the areas that they're most concerned about. Where do you need coverage the most? What areas concern you? Do you have areas that you're at every day operating, whether it's nursing homes or assisted living facilities where there's an ambulance call every day? If there's certain intersections that are high traffic or high activity, or are there areas that you're really concerned about? Is there a chemical plant or a fertilizer plant or you name it? Is there an area that you don't normally operate at, but if things go bad there, you're really going to need to have good communications? Those are the sorts of things we want to know about. The county hot zone spreadsheet is just columns with the name of the facility, the address, latitude and longitude, so on and so forth. one of the things that you'll notice is at the end there's a column for comments. If the information that you've got doesn't fit in all of these other columns, put it in the comments. It's really important that we have the information. The information is far more important than the format. If you just put information in the comment field, we'll figure it out from there, and we really appreciate it. Also, one of the things we'll be looking at is CAD data. And all we need are the locations from the CAD data. We don't need to know who did what and how they whatever. We don't need to know any of that. All we need to know is the locations. Because then what we plan to do is take all those dots for all those incidents that occurred in your CAD, overlay them on a map, and then overlay the coverage to make sure that we're covering in the areas that you normally operate. And it helps us spot any errors where we didn't catch something. So it's just CAD data, just the locations. The timeline for this is probably going to be in the next 6 to 9 months. Once FirstNet tells us we can do phase 2 data collection, we're going to start collecting and analyzing the data. We're going to go back out to the counties and ask them to help us gather this information. Our thought is that between the information in the CAD systems and the information in GIS, or Geographical Information System computers, and in those servers, all that mapping information, we anticipate we've got about 95% of all the data we're going to need between those two sources. Once we've collected all the data and put it into a format that we think is good, we'll go do a county by county review to make sure, do we understand what it is that you need? Did we get it right? If we're good, fine. If we don't have it right, we'll go back and correct it until we have it the way it shows reality in your area. Once we've got those reviews done and we've got the information set up, that's what we'll provide as design criteria to FirstNet, so when they develop their RFP, they understand how Illinois needs to use public safety data. So the future is coming. Start thinking about changes. How's this wireless broadband going to help you? How's it going to hurt you? Again, maybe a little more data is good. A lot more data might be a problem. So start thinking about those things. What kind of applications do you use today for mobile data? Do you use a CAD application? Do you use any kind of GIS or vehicle tracking or things like that? And if you had the reliable bandwidth where you could pretty much do whatever you needed to do over the bandwidth available, what would you use? What would you do in the future that you can't do today? So start thinking along those lines. For all of us, our main mission is to save lives and keep our communities and first responders safer. FirstNet's just a tool in the toolbox to do that. If FirstNet makes sense for you from a technical and a financial standpoint, then it's there for your use. If it doesn't make sense, then you don't have to use it. It's important to point out that there's no requirement in the law, the federal law or state law, that agencies have to use FirstNet. Again, if it doesn't make sense for you, use whatever works for you. You don't have to use FirstNet. So for more information, there's several sources. The first one is www.firstnet.illinois.gov. This has information specific to the Illinois FirstNet project, to our portion of the project. It also has a link to our outreach sessions, a schedule that tells where we're going to be in which county at what time and what location. So that's a very handy source of information, especially if you haven't been to an outreach session yet, or if there's already been one in your county. There's nothing that says you can't go to a neighboring county to their outreach session when they're scheduled. There's no requirement that the outreach sessions are only for that county. Also, there's www.firstnet.gov. That's the federal level, the nationwide information on FirstNet for the entire project nationwide. A lot of good information there, a lot of resources and fact sheets and so on and so forth. And then of course there's publicsafetytools.info. This is mobile data survey tool and other information that you can get in there and start learning about how FirstNet works, how land mobile radio works, and so on and so forth. So for contact information, we have an Illinois FirstNet project office. If you want to call us, you can call at 217-531-0499, or you can email us at ljbell@ileas.org. The FirstNet team in Illinois is Joe Galvin. He's the program lead for FirstNet Illinois. He's also the statewide interoperability coordinator. I'm the system architect, Bill Springer. Gary Cochran is our FirstNet outreach coordinator, and Lori Bell handles the FirstNet grants and logistics. So that concludes the formal part of the presentation. We really appreciate your watching and thank you for your attention. And again, if you've got any questions or comments, 217-531-0499 or ljbell@ileas.org. Thanks for your time and thanks for watching.